Hey, welcome back to MVP Hot Wheels. This is Diesel Mac, and I've got the Peterbilt cabs in front of us. Um, we have a post that was on Facebook from Pete that had a railroad on the yellow Peterbilt cab and questioning whether it was authentic on the card and all that kind of stuff. Um, there were some good points made. I think Jason made a comment about it, how it'll have a little wiggle because as they try to fake these, it could be glued down, and then therefore it no longer has that wiggle to it. I'll show you what that's about, and then we're gonna go ahead and just pop one. I don't really have a terrible example. I've got quite a few down here, but they're all fairly all in about the same condition. And I'd rather do a yellow one because that seems to be the same what you're gonna find under there, but we'll go through some of this stuff, kind of show you what we're looking for. So here is mine. And one thing he was talking about, or somebody had mentioned, is look in this space here. This is a common pry place. Prying. Get your screwdriver here and kind of turn it. And we'll do it on this one, obviously, but basically you could get in there and pry that up. And so we'll put that here if you're going to use it. And so you'll see some markings maybe there, maybe inside where that yellow is. And you can see on this one, it doesn't have that. This is the play that he was talking about, so you can kind of hear it. Try to make it loud enough for the video to pick up. And so it normally kind of has that play. I have one that's pretty stiff, and that just could mean that it went sat well together. And when they put the piece on there, kind of pinched in a little bit more. But almost all of these have that little play, and hopefully you can hear that. Like here's another example, so you can kind of see it. Sometimes the back will move just a little bit, and then this is one that I've opened off a good package, and nobody would fake the shell one, but you can see it kind of lift up at the back a little bit. This one lifts up at the back. Previous one, this has less play, but you can hear it. Not so much on the back side. Like I said, some of them just sit better. But as the newer ones, this is the later release of goodness, another shell one, right? You can hear that. You can hear the back end pick up. And so that was one thing somebody was talking about to kind of authenticate that if it was real, because if they were to glue this piece back on, right, they pried this off of an older one, and it has to be painted. I've never seen a unpainted tanker like this one here, with the railroad on a yellow. That might be a good indication too, because I think most of the later ones had painted ones, painted tanks on it. And then to look at what they could look like underneath, here is a dump truck, kind of gives you easy access. And you see it's got two holes in this one, and this has the Hot Wheels logo. And if we go back, I think most of your dump trucks, nope. This one has the same base as this one. And here you can see, this one only has the one hole, and then, so it's held in between those two spots. Why there's a third hole, I'm not 100% certain. If we look at, this is a Leo, and it's got the two holes, but the two holes usually have the Hot Wheels logo. So again, no Hot Wheels logo. One hole. Let's see if it falls true for this one. This one's a Hot Wheels logo, and we've got two holes. And so the railroad is, with the Hot Wheels spelled out, and the bar Malaysia, as almost all of these are. I brought a Hong Kong version out just to show you. There's the Hong Kong version, and that one's pretty tight. This is not one that would have been fake for any reason. It's got a little play on it, but it's fairly tight in the front. And yeah, so kind of some differences. Another Leo, most of the, or at least all of the Leos that I've seen so far have the Hot Wheels logo base, so that seems to be the mold that was sent over. And then of course this one, you know, being one of the newer ones compared to these, right, has that Hot Wheels logo base and has the 2 holes. I've got a bunch of trucks here in a 48 car case. So let's take a look at a newer version, a China version. Right, came in one of the little play sets, and you see that's got 2 holes on it, the Hot Wheels logo, but it does have the China base, and happens to be yellow. Just happened to pull that one out. But yeah, so there's questions about authenticity of this one. I think there's enough collectors out there that have seen this, and you know, probably have an example that is, you know, mine's not perfect, but again, no issues, right? When we look in here and you can kind of get in there, you don't notice, you know, evidence of prying that up. Even the, you know, paint on the bottom of the railroad is in really good shape all the way around, right? And you got to find a way to get this out without damaging it. There's not a lot of space in there. And you know, if you put, you know, just a piece of paper in there to kind of cover it a little bit, or, you know, tissue or something, I don't know that that's going to help you very much, because there's still going to be some signs, I think, of getting it out, which is what we're going to find out on one of these. Let's see here. Is there any? This one's got one little chippy there, so we're going to use that as an example. So here, just to give you a comparison, like I said, got a little wiggle. Same base as that, however you want to look at it. Right side up maybe. Painted and all that. So we are going to see what it takes to open this up, and you can see as you get a little leverage in there, we're going to pry that up. And it's kind of prying the base more than it's prying in there, unfortunately. So that could be another evidence of, see how it's tilting the truck down, or, you know, kind of putting you know, the truck's starting to bend down away from this as I do it. So that could be another indicator, is the space in there. So I've never done this. There we go. So now we've got it to pop. You have a rivet right there. That would have been through the single hole, right? That would have been in here. And that's where you could kind of get some of that tightness. But again, a lot of these are somewhat loose. The back end just kind of sits in there. There's not really anything holding that back end, just that one rivet. So again, that's why the back end had a little play, right? Because you can kind of see that there, kind of lifts up, because the only thing holding it, there's nothing holding it there. Even at this piece, if we bring this piece down and back into spot, it's not, sorry, let it zoom in, you know, there. So that's what you could have. That was just me for the first time. I'm sure people would go to works to kind of try to bend that back in place, so that it was, you know, straight. But that's what it did, just on trying to get this open. It kind of put pressure on there. And again, you know, some damage from me trying to do that. That's kind of in there a ways. There is a little bit of damage. It's kind of hard to see where I've forced it down right there. You see that side doesn't have that. And then here's the rivet. So not much holding that on there. Kind of broke free. The rest of it, you know, the rest of the rivet's probably somewhere in there. Oh, yeah, there's some piece that came out right there. So there's signs of tampering that you can see with a faked one. Again, it's kind of hard to tell, but the body has bent kind of down, you know, in a sad face. Is a good way to say it. Away from the body. And if we put these back together, right, and you want to push that back in, try to get it in. There we go. Now you can see the space between the cab and the tank now. That is not the same as this one here. So just a tutorial on things to look for. Again, I think they're real. This has all the, you know, evidence that it wasn't pulled off and glued together or, you know, taken apart. You can see the damage you would have to do to take that apart. Body is still straight. This one is kind of, you know, bent up. So, but hopefully that helps. You know, this is a tough one. I don't know that it's so tough that somebody's, you know, gonna make a lot of fakes because people are weary about them. But for sure, if it's super tight and the back doesn't move, they probably glued both areas or has glue across the bottom here. So I pull this one back out. And we'll need to pry it back out again. There we go. You know, they could put glue across the whole area or on this hole, and it, you know, comes down and makes contact with more than, you know, just the rivet area, the post. So, but again, hopefully this helps. Kind of destroyed a almost mirror one to show you guys, but I think it's worth it to get the information out there. So Pete, I think, you know, your package looks correct. I don't think they would have came on too many packages. Somebody said they had 4. I think that's a little crazy. That I don't know that they came on 2 different packages, because it's such a limited run. Usually that kind of stuff, you know, happened as they had, you know, leftover railroad bodies from when they made the red one, or tanks, right? And they're like, all right, let's go ahead and finish those up and get those gone, and then, you know, they have the shell one. So that's what I think would happen, right? If you had extra parts as a manufacturing company, which I've worked at, you're going to try to use that to save costs. You know, you don't want the waste. And so, you know, for them to throw a railroad on this and in having the extra ones, apparent, you know, that could be an easy idea or way to, you know, save that cost. And I don't see why they wouldn't do that. There's no reason not to. It wasn't like, you know, there was an issue with having railroad on there and having a patent for the railroad, right? There would be more of a thing with shell, you know, being a promotional, you know, type of, you know, design on there than they would with just this railroad, right? Railroad was, you know, that's their own, you know, thing that they did, and it's just common railroad. Whereas the shell, right, you got maybe licenses or something like that you got to have to be able to put that on there. So I could see, you know, them putting that on there. Even with the California Construction Company, right? They probably created that on their own, and that wouldn't be having any licensing issues. But this one would not have that. And if they had extras, why not throw them on to use them up so that you don't have any waste? Seems fairly normal to me in a manufacturing plant. And again, these are made in Malaysia, right? So you're away from the headquarters, you know, a lot of your main, you know, people making decisions probably at that level. And I'm sure somebody was like, you know, if we have extras, we're going to use it, which we've seen across the board, especially in this time frame where we get transition pieces. I think that they're very viable to be real. I think this one is real. Pete, yours looks good if you're watching the video. And if you have one, you know, give it that little test to see if it still moves inside there. just a little bit, and now that you know how it works, that there's just the one post kind of holding it in, I think that will at least make you feel better about making a purchase on that, or you know, I don't know, or feel better about not buying one because you find out that it's fake and it doesn't move and it's got all the telltale signs. So again, hopefully this helps. If you have any other comments, throw those down below. Let me know what you think. And yeah, again, just thanks for watching.